What's going on? How are ya? How's it going, everybody? How was your weekend?
Usually women that want to push this and men who are bitches. It's like these men that don't like aggressive. They don't like aggressive men. They don't like manly men. And so they push it as well.
No, because they're aggressive and they're controlling and they want to run. And that's because that's the thing where, like, if you really look at their agenda, when they say the future is feminine, that's not inclusive. And they're all about, oh, make this more inclusive. It's like, no, let us in so we can take it over and then we'll push you down. Is the psychology of the kind of person that goes after that, someone that's after, like, power. I'm not saying the average woman is like that. My wife is a feminist and she's into, like, inclusive. But, like, people who are spearheading stuff.
Yes.
Like, those people are wired the same way, like, you know, I mean.
A dominator is.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's going to be no room for you. It's going to be like, think the way, like a lot of that so-called progressives, extreme left is think the way we think, say what we say, or we will fucking destroy you.
Pull up that tweet that I retweeted today, the David Pakman retweet. David Pakman is this liberal progressive guy. This woman posts on Twitter she would never vote for a man or a white man or a white person, white or male, someone who's white or male. He says that's racist and sexist. It is. So she blocks him on Twitter. Today she called Boston College demanding that they not have him back as adjunct faculty. It's crazy. So this woman posts this, and he points out that it's racist and sexist. So she blocks him, and she tries to get him fired.
Okay, this is why that whole thing is fucked up. Okay, because he's acting like white people exist on an even plane, which a lot of people try to do. So it's like...
But he's not necessarily. He's just saying that what she's saying is racist and sexist.
Yes.
Because she's determining who she's going to vote for based entirely on the race.
Yes, but there's other elements involved. Like the level that white people, not saying all white people, but white people have fucked over people who are not white. Forget about poor white people who they fucked over. So you understand that, but they're both right. But then, like, the fact that she then takes it to the point that because he had the audacity to have a difference of an opinion, that's the thing now, and that now we're going to destroy you and you can't be on this thing. And then the other level of that is how the corporate entities are so afraid that one fucking nickel is going to roll out the door. Because all of this shit is you're just a paper tiger until you get the big behemoth to listen to you. And there's all of these fucking things from award shows to this bullshit that someone just needs to be like, listen, this guy already apologized. This is an old fucking thing. Or, look, you just had a difference of opinion. That you know, this isn't the first time you're going to say something and somebody's going to disagree with you. That doesn't mean that this guy can't come back. You know, and you obviously, because of some shit that's happened to you, have an extreme opinion about this guy because of the color of his skin. It's like there's so many fucked up elements to that, but for some reason you can't, like, if you address that on any level, then you're part of the problem. And
well,
then
it's not just part of the problem. She's trying to get him fired. She's trying to get him fired for pointing out that something is racist.
No,
and
I'm saying
sexist.
if you say what I just said,
yes.
Try to look at it 360.
Oh yeah, and you're
as much as I can, which is why I love South Park, because everything that they do it 360, right? And so I learned a lot from that show, by the way they look at stuff like that, because I don't fucking know everything. But even just to try to be like, well, hey, you know, insulted him a little bit. I understand what you're saying and blah, blah, blah. You can't fucking do that anymore because then somebody, you're part of the fucking problem. And no, it's really gotten crazy. It's gotten to the point, like, I've seen, I'm not going to name names, but I've seen, like, you know, a tweet from a fellow comic telling comics what jokes you shouldn't talk about this topic. It's like, who the fuck are you? It's like, there's already going to be enough people doing that. You're going to do, like, cannibalism now?
Have you really? You've really seen comics say that?
Yeah.
Real comics?
Yeah. I mean, everybody has their opinion on somebody's fucking act, but I mean, yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's not a real comic.
Well, I wouldn't say that. They are a real comic. They just have an opinion I don't agree with.
They can fuck off.
Yeah, well, I mean. I'm trying to have less confrontations.
But I understand.
In my life here.
That kind of shit drives me crazy, though. What drives me most crazy is this bullying. Like, she's trying to get him fired. She tried to get him fired for having an opinion on something that she publicly stated.
One of these, somebody running one of these things has to be like, and it can't just be private. It has to be a public tweet to say that it's just going too far. And this fucking thing where you have a difference of an opinion now and they're just going to, take your fucking job away. I ran into this shit, when the Me Too stuff first started coming out, people would try to you had to tweet the right fucking thing. And if you said anything sort of, let's look at the evidence. God forbid you fucking said that. And it just became like this whole, you're part of the problem. And then they would try to take you down or someone you were friends with or doing a show with or represented by. They would try to do like that pressure to try. And it was just like, and all you had to say is like, no, I'm not doing that. And then it just goes away because you don't have a fucking leg to stand on.
Well, also the people that are doing it, it's a small percentage of it's a very
unbelievably
vocal minority.
Small.
Yeah.
Unbelievably small. And comics, it's like we're literally running for office. We're out there campaigning for this election that never happens. And you're going through red states, blue states, you're going through fucking everything. And the general consensus of people is like, dude, that was fucking crazy. Like that doesn't make sense. But no one wants to say it because they're going to get steamrolled. And
well, you saw what happened to Matt Damon, right? Matt Damon said we have to make a differentiation between the Harvey Weinsteins in the world and then someone who, like Aziz Ansari, goes on a bad date. There's a big difference between those two. And they attacked him, and they tried to get him pulled off of that movie Ocean's 8.
Yeah, and they were acting like that, like killing somebody versus stealing a car versus jaywalking. Like literally the whole judicial system is based on what you did is your punishment. Your parents do that.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How bad was what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what that sounded like.
Exactly.
And we live in a world now where I have to be measured in the way that I say that what he said, affected me, how I heard it. And then I was like, this is just a typical fucking bald white male.
Yep.
And they go in that route. It's like you literally sound like what the fuck you're against, and it's not going to last. And I feel like it's like the end of the winter, and people want to go outside and get some sun on their face, and taking people by the back of their fucking neck and fucking shoving their face in the shit. That you can't sustain that.
No,
you can't sustain it. It doesn't.
It doesn't work. You don't get people to change by yelling at them. Doesn't work.
Or bombing them, like what the fuck we're doing. Like that's not all you're doing is you're just building up resentment, and more people want to fucking take you down. So that's like
they don't understand psychology. So what they think is this is their time. This is their time to get back at men. This is their time to yell at men. This is the time to wear the Future's feminine T-shirts. This is the time to take their stand. And did you not see the Women's March? Saw a bunch of people walking.
Right. Listen, I'm not saying the points that they're making don't need to be made. I'm not saying that their complaints are not just. It's the execution of it.
Yes.
Where it's like you're going to go through intimidation and destroying people, like
exactly
people's careers and people. You have to publicly apologize. It's like
they're bullying people.
Yes. Some of the biggest bullies right now, I can't believe it because I'm a lefty, are on my side of the fucking fence. And, when someone's on your side of the fence and you're looking at them like you sound like a fucking crazy person, that's when you've entered, like, what was your special? Strange Times?
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. Like, it's like.
It is strange. Yeah.
It is strange because it's.
They feel like they're justified because they feel like with a maniac like Trump in the office that they have to do what they have to do to change the world. But you don't change the world by yelling at people. It doesn't work that way. And there's real points to be made. There's real points about. I couldn't imagine being a woman working in an office with a bunch of guys trying to fuck you all the time. It's got to be a goddamn nightmare. I can't imagine having a bunch of bosses that literally tell you suck my dick, I'll give you a raise. Like, that happens. It's fucking. It's got to be hell. I get it. I mean, I get it.
But you
from
have to
top
be.
To
You got
bottom.
to be like an 8 though, 8 on up. To deal with that every day. I mean, let's be fucking honest. You know what I mean? There's really
some sixes out there.
There's really good. If you got a
hit
personality.
the gym a lot, got a nice ass.
I'm just saying. It's just like some of that shit is like fucking. it's. I always viewed it like you ever watch like the behind the scenes of like a prison, and the first thing every guy thinks is like, how the fuck would I not get raped in there, right?
Exactly.
Women have to think that just fucking walking down the street.